Investigators reopen roads where the shooting took place just west of downtown Lawrenceville.
11Alive's Latasha Gibbons live on the scene tonight. Latasha, I know the shooting happened around 3 a.m. What are you being told led up to this shooting?
Well, good afternoon, Faith and Jonathan. GBI tells us Lawrenceville police tried to make a traffic stop along this stretch of road behind me, but ultimately the driver did not comply, and that is what led up to the shooting. Let's take a look at some video we got when we first arrived on scene. GBI says as the officers tried to stop the driver, he sped past officers and then made a U-turn, then started driving back towards the officers. Investigators say the driver then abandoned his car, then tried to steal the police patrol car. GBI says the officers gave the man verbal commands, but he did not comply, and that is when he was shot. Now, the name of the victim have not been released right now as investigators work to notify next of kin, and the officers involved in this shooting, their names have not been released at this time either. Live in Lawrenceville, I'm Latasha Gibbons, 11Alive News.
All right, Latasha, thank you so much for bringing us that update. Well, this is just into the newsroom. Hunter Biden has pleaded not guilty to gun charges after his previous deal fell through. The president's son was arraigned at a federal courthouse in Delaware this morning. Hunter Biden was indicted last month on 3 counts related to his possession of a firearm while using illegal drugs. He's currently on probation. He's not allowed to use drugs or own a gun. And this is the first time that a child of a sitting president faces criminal charges in court.
New at noon, officials are investigating what caused a fire to break out at Townhomes in Stone Mountain earlier this morning. Now, this happened at Village Main Street Townhomes around 4:45. That's when crews arrived, and they say they found flames coming from the top of the back of the building. As they were evacuating and trying to put out the fire, the flames spread to another unit. Fortunately, we're told there were no injuries, no word yet on what caused the fire.
That's so good to hear that. All right, let's get a check of this weather, starting with a live look over Truist Park, where today the Braves will be giving fans the opportunity to attend their postseason workouts later this afternoon. It will feature not only the Braves, but also members of the Gwinnett Stripers. But it's also a great time to get out there and enjoy some of this great fall weather that we are having right now.
Yeah, it continues. Meteorologist Chesley McNeil joining us. And Chesley, we're enjoying the weather. Can we stick it around will it stick around rather for a while?
If you like it, yes. Yes, indeed. Yeah, you see that sky out there was blue, crystal clear. No clouds out there at all. We're looking pretty, folks. Not only for where we are, but the entire state looks great as well. We started out on the cool side. Temperatures were down into the 50s and 60s. So you may have started out with that light sweater or a jacket, but now you can start to take it off or at least unbutton it, right? Temperatures are in the 70s just about everywhere you look. We do have an 80-degree reading over toward Georgia's Rome. That's it. 79 degrees in Atlanta, 76 into Marietta, 76 also up toward Clayton, where we started out in the low 50s. 77, a popular number. We got it in Covington, down toward Thomaston, also in Duluth at the current hour. We'll be warming up nicely as we head through the rest of the afternoon as temperatures climb into the 80s. Keep in mind, we should be around 80 degrees. 79, 80 degrees is where we should be for this time of year. So slightly above that, we'll hit 83. We'll hit that right around 4 o'clock. Easterly breeze about 10 miles per hour or less. If you got evening plans, celebrating a birthday or maybe an anniversary, 77 degrees by 7 o'clock. Keep in mind, though, the sun sets about 20 minutes after 7, so you don't have much daylight once you get off work to enjoy it. But we're going to continue this. As Jonathan said, we have these cool starts. Also, warm afternoons ahead. But as we head toward the weekend, some cooler air is coming our way. If you like this kind of fall weather, you'll really like what's coming ahead. We'll talk about that in the 7-day outlook just ahead.
All right, we'll see you then, Chesley. Thank you. Well, for the first time this afternoon, we're getting a look at what went wrong when a truck driver hit a bridge over I-285 last week, causing a massive traffic headache.
Yeah, so we recently got our hands on the inspection report that claims that the truck and its load were nearly 4 feet too tall and 40,000 pounds too heavy. 11Alive's Jerry Carnes has more on what will happen to the company that operates this truck.
A bridge taken out of commission, damaged beyond repair. As contractors scramble to build a new one, neighbors like Jennifer Sander deal with the long-term impacts. Drivers that used to travel the Mount Vernon Bridge over I-285 are now jammed onto other area streets.
Is it going to deter people, and affect businesses, people staying home? I mean, a friend of mine just the other day said she didn't go to meet some friends for dinner because she didn't feel like fooling with it.
The Georgia State Patrol has issued citations to the driver of the truck that struck the bridge last week week while traveling beneath it on I-285. According to an inspection report, the truck was carrying an excavator that reached a height of 17 feet 3 inches, nearly 4 feet above the legal limit of 13 feet 6 inches. The Georgia Department of Transportation couldn't provide us with the exact height of the Mount Vernon Bridge, but did say all bridges on that section of I-285 are at least 16 feet 5 inches. The inspection report goes on to say that the truck weighed more than 120,000 pounds, 40,000 pounds over the legal limit. The fine for that, according to the State Patrol, is 5 cents for each pound over the limit, or in this case, about $2,000. It will be up to local authorities to determine a fine for the height violation, as they also deal with the lingering traffic headache that likely won't be resolved until the new bridge is in place sometime next year.
All right, so the company that owns this truck is actually a local company that operates here in Metro Atlanta. 11Alive emailed them asking for a statement. We are still awaiting a response.
This afternoon, Griffin Spalding County Schools is saying increased security at both of the county's high schools will continue this week, following a shooting that happened near the football stadium over the weekend. So the shooting happened Saturday afternoon down the street from Griffin Memorial Stadium. Now, the school system says investigators told them Griffin High School freshman 14-year-old Emmanuel Dorsey was at the game, but the suspect 18-year-old Kamarian Kendricks, who was going to Griffin High School, was not. Officials also say the victim and the suspect knew each other. Now, this afternoon, the search continues for the suspect you see on your screen. Police say Kendricks has several warrants out, including ones for murder and aggravated assault. Officers say he is to be considered armed and dangerous and may have also, at this point, changed his appearance.
Take this story into consideration that it could be you. You could be next.
The best friend of a Brookhaven woman found dead in Gwinnett County is speaking out this afternoon. The body of 48-year-old Amy LaFakis was discovered near a construction site on Sunday.
It's sickening. It literally makes my stomach hurt to know that this guy just took her and discarded her like she was trash. And she was alone by herself for, days, and we're out looking for her. And I think that's the hardest part, because Amy would never, ever let that happen to anybody else.
As of right now, LaFakis' death has not been classified a homicide. Gwinnett County Police said additional charges could be coming pending the results of an autopsy. Now, this is a picture of LaFakis. Her ex-boyfriend, Brandon Weininger, is now charged with kidnapping, tampering with evidence, and concealing a death. Her best friend, Faith Corbin, said LaFakis had helped her out of a rocky relationship, and she says LaFakis thought everything had been handled. All right, well, this afternoon, the city of Atlanta is moving forward with safety plans they hope will cut down on crime. In fact, just last night, City Council decided that they would require more businesses to have security cameras.
That's right. So 11Alive's Christy Diaz has been following this effort and has more on why the city sees building a camera network as a solution.
Starting next year, all new construction, 10,000 square feet or more, must install a security camera system. This new ordinance, authored by Councilwoman Keisha Shawn Waits, was written to address recent car break-ins around the city.
For the 140 citizens and individuals who had their vehicles broken into, for folks who have experienced this all over the city, who live in multifamily housing or apartment complexes, there is help on the way.
Waits says they're targeting larger facilities because it would be costly and burdensome for many of the smaller properties. She says putting in the cameras is a small price to pay for safety.
When you look at the loss of property, the cost to replacing deductibles and so forth, I think at the end of the day, there's a benefit in terms of getting these bad actors off the street.
The security camera systems will have the option to link up to Atlanta's citywide security camera network called Connect Atlanta. It allows people and businesses to register their cameras with APD so officers can access the video when investigating a crime.
And the requirement is that we have cameras in parking structures as well as around the properties to ensure that we can catch these culprits or any bandits who are bad actors who engage in these types of criminal activity.
Waits says since officers can't be everywhere at once, this is another tool to keep crime at bay.
Yeah, so earlier this year, Atlanta City Council passed legislation requiring gas station surveillance cameras. DeKalb County has a similar requirement at convenience stores and gas stations.
In fact, Atlanta is one of the most surveilled cities in the world. There's one surveillance camera for every 31 residents. And with this new ordinance that we just talked about, there will soon be more. Happening today, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and his wife Marty are expected to make a major economic announcement here in Atlanta in just hours. Both state and local leaders are expected to be there at the governor's mansion at 3:30 this afternoon. 11Alive will also be there with our crew, and we'll share everything that we learned coming up starting on 11Alive News at 4.
We'll certainly be looking forward to that. Well, later tonight in DeKalb County, local and federal experts will hold a roundtable discussion on the affordable housing crisis. It'll center around solutions for homelessness, increasing rent prices, home buying challenges, and a lot more. So Congressman Hank Johnson is actually hosting this event. It will be taking place tonight at 5:30 at the Lew Walker Senior Center in Stonecrest. And more help is pouring in for Clark Atlanta students following last month's flooding. You'll remember that. Look at those images there. After the break, we'll show you how people are stepping in and what's next.
Career. Visit ict.edu to learn more.
3 guests recount their experiences on The Maury Show. A special hour of Maury after the results continues. Welcome back to Maury after the results. Before the break, Tracy explained to us how he felt after he was proven to be the father of LaQuisha's twins. And it was those positive results that inspired him to begin the process of DNA testing the 20 young adults he was accused of fathering.
The second time, I got a call from you guys checking up on me. And I decided to bring my 2 older daughters, 31-year-old Nicole and 23-year-old Shakia, to see whether or not they was my children.
Let me set the record straight. Tracy is a grown child, not a grown man. And definitely not any kind of father. For him to deny me and my baby sister, now that we're adults, is another disgusting disappointment.
The only fatherly advice I ever got from Tracy was that I'll probably be pregnant or a crackhead.
I wanted a DNA test on Nicole because, I mean, you know, her mother wasn't the loyalest person in the world.
How does it make you feel when he told us he's positive he's not your father?
It's just pathetic. It's a childless act.
Okay.
It really disgusted me because it's just one of the selfish things that he's always done.
And Shakia, I had doubts about Shakia because her mother wasn't that loyal to me.
He told me I wasn't going to get pregnant, I wasn't going to graduate from high school, and I was going to end up on the streets, and I think I'm actually doing better than him.
Try to make me out to be a deadbeat. See, it wasn't surprising that Shakia was doing that.
He wasn't there for you when you were growing up, was he?
Sometimes when he wanted to be, when he
Not
tried
like
to
a
act
father
like a father,
should
not
be.
like a father.
I ain't know you was mine! I ain't know you was mine!
He said that.
He definitely told me that.
What surprised me was when Nicole turned against me because Nicole is my best friend.
He told me he was your best friend.
No, if he was my best friend, he wouldn't have came to your show behind my back. He would have called and let me know that he was at the show. He wouldn't have hid it from me. He tells me everything. If he told me everything, then he would have told me, oh, I'm calling the Maury Show, but he didn't tell me that.
After watching them tear me down, I was angry. I was really angry. I was so angry, I could have bit one of them.
You brought them to the show. Why are you angry?
You know why I brought them to the show, Murray?
Yeah. Well,
Welcome back. Municipal elections are now just weeks away for voters here in Metro Atlanta. Voters will be deciding on offices like city council and mayor in some areas.
But if you are not registered for the November 7th election, you only have 1 week from today, that's October 10th, to register. So if you're not sure on whether you are registered or not, you can actually check online using the My Voter page. Just Google My Voter page Atlanta, it'll bring it up. This will be especially important because 183,000 people are coming off the voter polls. Back in August, the Secretary of State's office said this includes people who have not voted in 5 years. So here are some more important dates for you to remember for next month's election. Absentee ballots will start being mailed out on October 16th. Advanced France, early voting starts on October 16th as well. Now, on October 27th, that's the last day that you can request an absentee ballot. Election day, of course, is November 7th. And prior to heading to the polls, you can check out a sample ballot. We actually have a link for you right now on our website.
All right, get ready to hear a loud noise go off on your smartphone tomorrow, specifically at 2:20 in the afternoon. But don't panic, it's part of a nationwide test of the emergency alert system. So you'll